What's up, YouTube? What's up, Rain Nation? This is part 2 of my series, basically discussing the 1 through 17 matchup, the Oakland, or basically the schedule for the Oakland Raiders, and basically talking about week 2. Now, the Oakland Raiders play against the Atlanta Falcons, a team that went 8-8, is led by head coach Dan Quinn, has Matt Ryan at the helm as quarterback, and has a plethora of other offensive superstars. Now, that being said, let me get into the quarterback. Matt Ryan finished with 46,000 yards. Didn't really convert on a lot of touchdowns, even though he had guys like Devontae Freeman, which is a dual threat, running back. A guy like Julio Jones and Rodney White. But overall, he got the job done offensively. I mean, this team finished top 10 in total generated offense. Top 7 in passing yards, and was pretty solid. Or I think finished 24th, or was pretty solid in the run game. Moving along, Devontae Freeman, the running back. He's their other superstar. This is a guy that's a dual threat running back, a guy that could not only rush on a team, but can also catch the ball from the backfield. And this guy was a flat out beast. His first 8 games of the year, he had 4 games where he had 100+ yards, and finished the season with 14 total touchdowns. If you ask me, this guy's big time. He's one of the younger, better running backs in this league, and he should give some problems. Moving along, their wide receiver corps. Anytime you have Julio Jones, you have to worry. You have to double coverage that guy. That guy's a flat out beast. Had almost 1,900 yards, 8 touchdowns. Is a crazy player. He's a crazy good player. They lost Rodney White. Brian and Muhammad Sanu. But overall, Julio Jones is the guy we need to be worried about. Offensively, this team got the job done. Defensively, they had some struggles. I mean, if you look at all their numbers, all the rushing yards they gave up, the passing yards, and the total yards they've given up, they're right smack in the middle. A team that even they didn't generate enough pass rush. Their front 7 doesn't have pass rushers. They don't, and I don't think they addressed that even in free agency. I think they finished 32nd in sacks. That being said, though, this team does have a solid linebacker corps. Has a solid defense overall. Nothing great. I would say it's more mediocre than good or okay. Has a couple names on defense that's solid. I don't think they did too much to address the defense. I mean, besides the draft, and overall they added a couple new players. But overall, I mean, I don't think this team did enough to get better than 8-8. We'll see. And I kind of want to talk about something else. The Atlanta Falcons have always been a team to put together solid teams. I mean, this team did start 5-0. They beat the Carolina Panthers, the only team that beat the Carolina Panthers. And they've always had really good talent. I remember a couple years back when this team had Matt Ryan, or they still have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, emerging as a superstar. Rodney White, who was a established superstar. Guys like Tony Gonzalez, guys on defense like Asante Samuels, John Abraham, Brent Grimes, and had big time names. And it's not the only problem with the Atlanta Falcons, but I've also seen this with the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, this team those two teams have always been really good. Have always had really good talent. I mean, I look at this team several years ago. They had guys like Mike Bibby, or the Hawks had guys like Mike Bibby, Jamal Crawford, Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, Al Horford. Look at this team 2 years ago had guys like Kyle Korver, or not Kyle, Kyle Korver. He's an all-star if you ask me. 2 years ago, guys like Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Jeff Teague, and these two teams have always had the talent and have never just put it together and made deep championship runs. That being said, I mean, if this game was being played on the road for the Raiders, I would give the Falcons the win. But since it's not, it's going to be played at Oakland Coliseum. It's going to be a huge game for us. It's going to see, fans are going to, come out for the game, and they're going to see, what this team is about. I mean, and I think, the Raiders are going to win this game just because, even though I do think Devontae Freeman is a great running back, I mean, he didn't finish the season strong, and I do think our front 7 has, ability to neutralize a great running back like Devontae Freeman. Even though, our secondary is revamped, I don't think we're gonna stop what's his name, Julio Jones. I mean, even though we have Sean Smith and we have all these other guys backing him up, Sean Smith by no means is a lockdown corner. He's an improvement over DJ Hayden and TJ Carey, but he's not gonna lock down Julio Jones. So if anything, we have to worry about two guys, or the throwing game and basically the throwing game. I mean, I don't think they're gonna hurt us too much with their rush game. I do think we're going to hit the quarterback a lot. I mean, they gave up something like 32 sacks, which is not too bad. But, I mean, when you have Khalil Mack and, Bruce Irving and, several other guys that get to the quarterback, I do think, our pass rushing is going to, help out in this game defensively. And then offensively, what are we going to be able to do? I mean, I do think the Falcons have a solid linebacker corps, so that should affect how we run the ball. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think Derek Carr and Amari Cooper and our wide receiver corps is gonna outplay the Falcons. I don't see it as a big time scoring game. I don't want to put out a final score of 30-17. I don't think I'm very good at that. But I do think the Raiders are gonna have the victory in this game. Again, this is all on paper. This is what I've seen on from paper and from training camp and OTAs. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe, guys. Have a good one.